Hi class, and welcome to your next video lecture on mechanisms for microevolution. Okay, so we have already discussed natural selection. We have also discussed the evidence for evolution. So now we're going to talk about microevolution a lot more in depth, and you're going to get a good feel for what microevolution is. So we're going to start with natural selection, genetic drift, gene flow, and how they can alter allele frequencies. So natural selection, genetic drift all can alter allele frequencies. And although mutations are rare and random, they actually have very little effect on the gene pool. The three main causes of our evolutionary change is natural selection, which is adaptive. Remember, you're adapting to your environment. Genetic drift, which is all up to chance. And gene flow, which is also up to chance. So what is genetic drift? You've heard me say it. Well, now we're going to talk about what it actually is. Genetic drift is a change in the gene pool of a population due to chance. So that key word there is chance. It's not necessarily going to happen. It's based on that genetic frequency. So in a small population, chance events may lead to the loss of genetic diversity. But remember, genetic diversity is one of the 4 pillars of evolution. So if we lose that genetic diversity, we're really going to be in some trouble. Okay, the bottleneck effect leads to a loss of genetic diversity when population is greatly reduced. Remember, we talked a little bit about this in class the other day, but now we're really going to go into depth about what the bottleneck effect is. So, the northern elephant seal was hunted to near extinction in the 1700s and 1800s. A remnant population of fewer than 100 seals was discovered and protected. The current population of 175,000 descended from those 2 seals and has virtually no genetic diversity. So because we reduced that the gene pool so much from whatever it had started at to 100, and then we had to build up the population from there, we have almost the exact same genes within that population. So what happened? So as you can see, all the different colors of the circles represent a different gene or genetic diversity. And in the bottle, when you're shaking out these balls or circles, you are only getting the blue going into the bottlenecking effect. So the ones that are surviving are going to be able to pass on their genes. Remember, that's what fitness and evolution means. And in the surviving population, we have 5 blue circles and 1 white circle, meaning that we have barely any genetic diversity. They're almost exactly the same. So that becomes a bit of an issue. So, genetic drift. Genetic drift produces the founder effect when a few individuals colonize a habitat. So the smaller the group, the more different the gene pool of a new population will be from the gene pool of the original population. This is exactly what happened with the elephant seals. What happened was we went down to very, very few, and as we gradually increased our genetic population, and genetic diversity did not change. So gene flow is the movement of individuals or gametes and spores between populations and can alter allele frequencies. So we're actually moving these organisms, and they're going to alter our genetic frequencies. So immigration is the act and the phenomenon of leaving one's native country or native ecosystem with our organisms to settle in another. It is the same as immigration. So immigration, but from the perspective of the place of origin. Immigration is the movement of people from one nation state or one ecosystem, in the case of an organism, to another. So human immigration has existed throughout human history. Immigration implies long-term permanent residence and often eventual citizenship. So if we're moving an animal from one area to another, different ecosystems, we are going to plan on that animal staying there. It's not really going to move much. So natural selection is the only mechanism that leads to adaptive evolution. An individual's fitness is the contribution it makes to the gene pool in the next and subsequent generations. The fittest individuals are those that pass on the most genes to the next generation. So we've talked about this in class, and fitness really here refers to how well you are passing on your genes. How well are you passing on your traits? What are you doing? So in this particular example, the fittest individuals are those passing on. If you cannot pass on, no matter how many muscles you have, how much weight you can lift, how far you can run, you are not fit for evolution. Evolution cannot occur with you because you cannot pass on your genetics. That plain and simple. Okay, so sexual selection may lead to phenotypic differences between males and females. So in many animal species, males and females show distinctly different appearance, and this is called sexual dimorphism. An intersexual competition involves competition for mates, usually by males. So not necessarily in humans, but maybe in a bird population or other populations, the males are actually going to compete in order to have a certain female. And what's interesting is these mating rituals. In intersexual competition or mate choice, individuals of one sex, usually the females, are choosing and picking their mates, often selecting flashy or colorful mates. So that female is trying to pick the fittest of all of those males that are coming after her. And she might do it by how strong he is. She might do it by how colorful he is. There's all kinds of things she can choose, but this competition is going to result from males of that species trying to mate with this particular female. Okay, that is it for tonight. Go ahead and make sure you have all those notes down, and we'll talk about it in class.